Welcome into another live edition of Tap In Eagle here on the Cousins Conversations YouTube channel and Twitter and Facebook as well. Where on Facebook, I was just given a subscription service and these stars. So if you're watching on Facebook, give this video a star and I will get some money in my bank account for all the love on this channel. And if you want to subscribe too, and we get enough subscribers on Facebook, we might make some of this content like our picks and all that subscribe only, so that we're not just giving away our picks for free because we've been hitting them, Fernando, as we know. So we don't want
Time
to
and
give away.
time again.
Yeah, so we don't want to give away free money anymore. So if we get enough subscribers on YouTube and Facebook and all that, then we might make some of the content on the show subscription only once we put it out to the world. Obviously, you can watch it live every week when we're going live. But that's a good segment just to get some business out of the way first. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for weekly episodes and golf content. We're here every week talking about the big news in the golf world. So if you're on Twitter or Facebook, head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, subscribe on Facebook, follow on Twitter, do what you need to do to get the show here live and all our content here on the channel. And it was a big week in golf, so we'll get right into it. But we always start out every week, especially now that the weather is still nice where I live. It's always going to be nice where Fernando lives, so he's going to play way more
That's
than I do
true.
until I start putting on like a winter jacket and boots here in the next couple months. But where did we end up playing this week, Fernando? Anywhere?
Yeah, I played here in my home course for a change because I don't usually play much there, and I was like struggling a little bit at the beginning of the week, but then I started using my training aid that I use for my lessons called the Pro Sender, which is something that you put on your right wrist, designed by Sean Foley and David Woods, and that helps you like get into the right angle on the backswing and stay there and keep it there instead of like the early release on the backswing. So that's helped me a lot, and try to like maybe be more horizontal in my backswing too helped me a lot. So then I played really well the last few days, so it was fun.
I love seeing all the clips out there of Fernando swinging. Has a very cool swing, very smooth, and nice views out there in Mexico too, Fernando. I love the views in your Instagram clips out there.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the views are great. It's very high up here. It's like almost 2,000 meters in elevation. So you get the 360 views quite often.
I played another forest preserve course here in Chicago. There's a whole bunch of them, and it's cool because there's a lot of trees and a lot of wildlife coming on the course as you play. There's a lot of deer that we had to navigate as we were hitting our tee shots. They were, eating grass off the fairway and stuff like that. But Indian Boundaries, where I played this week, fun 18-hole course. A lot of short par fours, only a couple par fives. But as my friends were saying, I was electric with the driver out there this last Saturday when I played. So, but my only problem was I need to hit it straight. I was getting good
Oh
distance,
man.
but I was hitting them so left. I would get to around the green where I hit the tee shot, even with the hole, but like 30 yards left. So so
Oh man.
I have to work on straightening that out, Fernando.
Yeah, I think if you're missing left, you're using your hands too much. So maybe try to use more your body instead of your hands.
Good
Obviously,
note.
the hands are the main part of the swing, but try to use your body more.
Good note. And I'll definitely do that because we know Fernando. He's given us some free lessons here on Tapping Eagle, so we're always interested in hearing what he has to say.
Exactly.
But
Give us some
I do have to
stars.
give a shout out though to the service at Indian Boundary, the car girl Brantley. Brantley, she also subscribed to the channel. I was talking to her a little bit, but great service from her. I first time I've seen a cart girl not only just serve the drinks, but like clean up the trash without even like asking. Like we didn't say she had to throw out our cans or anything, and she just grabbed them and threw them out. So shout out Brantley if you're watching. So appreciate your service.
Yes, shout out Brandley. Thank you for following us.
Let's get into the golf and our favorite volatile golfer, Wyndham Clark, gets it done at the BMW Championship, makes it 3 wins on the year. And another pick that we hit, Fernando, this week. Wyndham doesn't do us wrong when we pick him. And
Wow.
it was pretty much what he did on Saturday, where he had that 7 of 8 holes where he made birdies, and then he had a 5-shot lead. Then Rory came back and tied him up. And then, as we've seen in both the U.S. Open this year and the Byron Nelson, the 2 tournaments that he won, just clutched down the stretch to make 3 birdies in a row to win it.
Yeah, yet another winning pick from us, man. I think we
Yeah.
have picked more than 10 winners already this year.
And 3 of them were Wyndham Clarks.
And 3 of them were Wyndham. And he's not afraid of Rory. He has beaten him again, like he beat him on the U.S. Open a couple of years ago too, and he won the U.S. Open again this year, and he won the CJ Cup, and now he won this tournament, maybe wire to wire, almost wire to wire. And like he said, he faltered on Saturday on the first hole. He double bogeyed, and then he ended up with a 5-shot lead, even though he bogeyed the last hole on Saturday. And then on Sunday, he was 3 over, and he was tied for the lead, like you said, but he didn't relinquish it. And he made so many putts, and when it counted the most, it was amazing to see that putter. It's so hot, man. I need to get one of those.
Yeah, those some of those long putts. I think the stat was 47 made feet of putts those last 3 holes that he birdied on Sunday. So you're just talking about like insane putts on Sunday to win.
It would be cool to see how many feet of putts he made during the whole week.
Yeah, I'll have to look back at that and see. But yeah, 47 in the stretch of 3 holes is incredible. So now that he has 3 wins on the year, there is some discussion out there as we get to the end of the PGA Tour season here. Is he now Player of the Year? Now, when they vote on this award, they usually look at consistency. So Scotty Scheffler's obviously on the list for that, just with how many runner-up finishes, top 5 finishes, his 2 wins, but no major for Scotty. Obviously, you can talk about Rory, but he has just the Masters win and barely met the requirements every week. Then you have Chris Gotterup, who won 3 times, Cam Young, who's won twice, Matthew Fitzpatrick, who's won 3 times. But those were earlier on the year. But Wyndham, the only one on that list besides Rory that has a major plus 2 other wins. So I think this is no doubt that he wins Player of the Year.
Yeah, for sure. He has to be the favorite to win, but we still have 1 tournament left, and that can change. If Rory wins the Tour Championship, he might get away with it. But like you said, like Scotty is going to win the FedEx Cup most likely, and that's the award for consistency. But the award for Player of the Year, I guess, is different. It rewards, like you said, maybe winning more important tournaments, and Wyndham won the U.S. Open, and Scotty didn't win a major, so he has to be the favorite right now.
Well, I'm Team Wyndham Clark, so let's go Wyndham Clark. You won me a lot of money this year, so if we were able to bet on Player of the Year, I'll put money on Wyndham too, but I don't think you can bet on that, unfortunately. But anyway, so we were talking about Rory, who was making a run at Wyndham that final round, and he's played well, in the BMW Championship and in the Tour Championship, winning 3 of these in his career. But he ends up finishing 3rd. So what did you make of Rory's run at Wyndham Clark, especially with how poorly he played last week in Memphis?
Yeah, amazing battle to come back from last week, and obviously this course suits him well, just like Atlanta. In East Lake is gonna be a good course for Rory, but I think he intimidates everybody by hitting it 50 yards past them. Like he hits its crazy 350-yard long drives, but with Wyndham that's not the case. Wyndham is just as long, so I think Wyndham maybe putts a little better than Rory. So I think it's a good new rivalry that we have.
Yeah, just Roy doesn't play enough week to week to really know where his game is at. This is the first time that we're seeing him in a 3-week stretch this whole season. And he also, Fernando, he doesn't think that LIV players bring any value. So,
Yeah, no comment there, man.
I just had to throw that out there. As you know.
Rory on this
yeah,
one.
I know. I don't defend Rory. I don't defend him anymore. I used to root for him, but after this year, I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. I just have to put that out there into the world. But let's
Even
talk.
Brian Rollup loves LIV players more than Rory.
Yeah. Hey, no disrespect to Rolap. He doesn't hate on the LIV players. So massive respect. And but what here's a name that we don't talk about him ever until the playoffs, and his name just pops up and he starts winning when it comes to the playoffs is two-time BMW champion Patrick Cantlay, who finished second. So he almost won his third BMW championship, and no wins all year for him. But when it comes to the playoffs, he's one of the best, and he always kind of peaks at this time of year, Fernando, especially when it's a Ryder Cup or President's Cup year, because he wants to make that team for the U.S.
Yeah, and that's what team golf does. I think if you look at LIV Golf, a lot of players rise on the occasion because of the team aspect. They want to win for their team. And I think it's the same with Cantlay. He wants to help the USA team, and it's happening again. And I think it's a great pick for the Tour Championship. I think he has like 4 top 7s in the last 4 years there, something like that.
Yeah, we'll get to our picks at the end of the show, as we always do. But the feel-good story of the year on the PGA Tour has been Gary Woodland. After going through all the PTSD and in that interview, just getting it all out there into the world, winning this year in Houston as well. We'll see him make the Tour Championship for the first time since 2019, the year he won the U.S. Open with a T4 finish this last weekend. So Gary Woodland and Fernando just been the feel-good story this year on the PGA Tour. And Rock Chalk Gary, we're both Kansas alums as well.
Yeah, man, amazing. So happy for this guy. He played beautifully on Sunday to creep in there. And he's the longest hitter on tour, maybe. But still makes us feel good with that bad shot that he hit on last day on Sunday. He hit like a 50-yard hybrid. I was like, one of us.
Exactly.
But man, he really went through it. It's internally he's going through so many battles that we're grateful that we don't have normally in our lives, and obviously he humbles us with his golf. But I think he's a very relatable guy, and everybody has struggles and that you might not even hear of, and he's very outspoken about it, and I think that makes him more likable.
And there was big crowds in St. Louis as well, being the neighboring state of Kansas where he's from. So Gary had a lot of fans out there cheering for him, and it was nice to see. And you can't hate Gary Woodland. He's such a likable guy as well. So shout out to Gary. Looking forward to him being at the Tour Championship this week. And somebody else who will be there, because we know he is the number one golfer in the world, the number one in the playoff standings, is Scotty Scheffler. And he didn't have a great week finishing T15, but I mean, how many top 15 finishes has Scotty had this year? This is like more than hands that I have or fingers that I have this year. But he did reveal, though, he's been playing with hand, foot, and mouth, Fernando. That is like a dangerous sickness. So the fact that he's like dealing with that while playing and still finishing T15, I mean, that's Scotty Scheffler right there.
And that's why he's the number one player in the world, because he's so competitive. Even if he's suffering, he still manages to put a T15 among the best players in the world. Like, how on earth? A normal person would have just retired.
And he won last week with the same sickness. So it's just like crazy.
In the heat of Memphis.
Yeah, that didn't help either. Right? He said he got it at Disney World with his family in one of the weeks leading up to the playoffs. So a rough go for Scotty, but we know he's a family man, and we're grateful he's battling through the illness.
Yeah, good thing to blame it on this. He's not like he was out partying in Ibiza.
Yeah. We have to keep bringing Rory up. Come on, Fernando. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. But let's go to Rory McIlroy's favorite golf tour, LIV, and Michael Sasso becoming the youngest winner on LIV for the High Flyers GC. And we know this was his first year on LIV. He came to join Phil Mickelson, who then kind of quietly backed away from LIV this year, only played in one event. But Michael Sasso, it started with that 10 under 60 on Friday. And then Rahm and DeChambeau were coming up against him on Sunday, the two best that we've seen on LIV. And Michael Sasso did not let them in. Even when he was down 2 shots to Rahm, he still comes back and wins.
Yeah, one of the best wins I've ever seen from the youngster. And he shot 71 on the first round, which was not great. He was probably like tied for 30th or something after the first day. And he came back with a 60, almost shot 59. And he handled it very well, hung in there. He didn't feel nervous at all. He embraced the moment. He has a lot of swag, like the way he walks looks like he's about to get in the ring with Mike Tyson or something. He has a lot of flair, a lot of style, a lot of talent, and he swings very flashy too. And he plays with the chain and all the good things. And he's very good friends with Jackson Coyban. I think that's helped him a lot to stay competitive. And congrats to him. And his cat is amazing. The Dynamite guy. He's a very fun guy. He does picks on baseball, and I think you need a good caddy to stay patient and stay in the moment and just stay relaxed. When that chip on 18 was incredible, man. He needed to have it up and down for birdie and beat Ram. Obviously, Ram bogeyed 18, but kind of opened the door a little bit. But he still needed to make birdie. Kind of missed his second shot. For a second, it looked like he hit it in the water, but stayed dry. And that chip was so delicate. It didn't look as fast as it was. I mean, he was so downhill and almost hold it.
Yeah, he talked about his friendship with Jackson Coyban. They both lived together in Florida, actually. So imagine like being a hole in the wall in their house. Just you have Jackson Coyban who won this year. Now Michael Sasso. They were both friends and played against each other in the SEC in college, and they both have those interesting swings. We talked about Jackson Coyban swing, but like Lasasso kind of on the downswing, he kind of adds a little more on the follow through. So what does he do there on that swing, Fernando Lasasso?
Yeah, he does a lot of side bend like Neiman, but it's even like harder and lower, and it's even more athletic. I don't know how many pounds does he lift, but you have to be really strong to maintain that position for so long and really flexible as well. I mean, that's why Phil picked him. Would have been nice to see a tweet from Phil congratulating Michael, but I mean, who knows what's gonna happen there?
Yeah, Phil needs to lay low. We saw all those stories that have come out this year. We don't need to bring them up on the show, but yeah, it's probably best for Phil to lay low right now. But what did Michael Sasso just find this week? Because he's been nowhere near the leaderboard this whole season, Fernando.
Yeah, that's golf, man. Like you made me think that you're playing well, but the scores may not show it, and so you just have to keep going and keep the belief up. And I mean, I'm sure if he's playing with Jackson Coyban, I mean, I'm sure he doesn't want to lose every day to him, just like Sibu doesn't like to lose money to Scotty every day. And but that's what helps him get better, to play with those kind of players. You have to play with players who are better than you. And Michael actually was making fun of Jackson because Jackson topped his tee shot on the 72nd hole on his win. So Michael said that when he was about to hit his last tee shot, he was like, "I'm not gonna top this like Jackson."
The year of young golfers continues in the world of golf, which we love to see. So remember the name Michael Lasasso. But the two big dogs in LIV were chasing Lasasso down on Sunday. People were like, oh, John Rahm's checked out because he's going to the PGA Tour and all this stuff. But he was trying to get that win, Fernando, and so was Bryson, because we hadn't seen Bryson win in a while either. And they were both right there till the very end.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching this tournament from Thursday to Sunday.
Oh, we know you were, Fernando.
and, and I was like, Ram was like 5 under after 2 days, and the commentators were like, "Yes, he's still right in it," and he was like 7 shots back, and I'm like, I mean, they're right. It's Ram. I mean, at any moment he's gonna be on the top of the leaderboard, and you know it. And 2 days later, he makes 9 birdies, and he's tied at the lead. He was even leading at some point
Yeah.
with a few holes to play, and he just made a horrible bogey on 18. Man, didn't make any sense. But at the same time, I think He never gives up. That's why he won the team championship. And but Tyrrell Hatton, he was like he didn't want to be there, but he still played great. And Bryson, obviously, he's trying to be the steward of this new era for Liv, and he played awesome too. I think he was just like 1 or 2 shots behind.
LIV 2.0, he said, will be fun. So we look forward to LIV 2.0 in whatever capacity that is or whatever way it looks. We'll quickly touch. You mentioned Legion 13 winning the team title in Indy. 4 Aces won the regular season title, but this was a dominant win from Legion 13, winning by 8 shots. We know John Rahm's performance, but what about the other 3? We know Terrell Hatton. Everyone's like, oh, he doesn't look very excited. He said he was trying to catch a plane to get to the British Masters. So that's why he was kind of rushing everything. But what did you make of the other 3 and how they played this week?
Yeah, I think Caleb Surratt has been outstanding this year. He has definitely rose to the occasion. I mean, you would say he was the weak player of the team, but if your weak player is Caleb Surratt, I think you're in a pretty good spot. And Tom McGibbon, I think he's been very steady, has a lot of top 15 finishes, and never blows out the score. Like, he's always under par. So, I mean, this team is so strong. It's unbelievable. I thought the 4 Aces were going to put more of a battle, but DJ kind of faltered at the end.
And then Majestics made a little bit of in the first round after that with the way Laurie Cantor played. Your guy Laurie Cantor,
my guy, finally Laurie.
Yeah, he played in that last group for the last 2 days. So good for Laurie Cantor.
Won. He had a chance. I was so happy for him. I was
yeah. I was like, wow, the Majestics are doing something, and Laurie Cantor's up there. What is going on, dude?
It was like upside down live.
Yeah. There you go. So we mentioned, and we saw the posts from all the commentators and everything. It's been a great 5-year run. There's still some uncertainty around the league. They obviously can't name the investor that they have, but Bryson saying, LIV 2.0 is going to be exciting. So we can't say it's not going to happen yet until we hear for sure, because we know there's a lot of anti-LIV people out there. So you can't really know what reports are correct and what aren't unless LIV is saying it. But either way, we want to do the top 5 LIV moments this season from Fernando. So let's start with number 5, and it's the same country that Fernando is in right now. Jon Rahm winning in Mexico City and hitting like 430-yard drives out here.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I've played that course a handful of times, and it seems like they're playing a different course. I mean, I think I hit it long, like, I don't know, 350 yards would be for me like a really great drive, best of the day. And these guys are driving me like for 100 yards, and it just makes no sense. And not only that, like, I could hit every green on this course, but the greens are so weird. And so all of a sudden, Rahm starts making everything. I mean, how he made like 25 birdies or something this week, and everybody hailed him as the king. It was a beautiful walk up the 17th hole, which they made the 18th hole, and it was just great to see someone play so well in such a friendly environment. I think we all embrace him as a local. I mean, obviously he's not Answer or Ortiz, but I think the Mexican crowd was just as happy to see him win.
And that was supposed to be the end of LIV too, that Mexico City, but here we are. At least they finish out the season if this is the end.
LIV is like the Hydra beast that you cut one head to catch come out.
We saw Michael Sasso's win this weekend, being the youngest LIV player, but Lucas Herbert has the record for final score, and that's where you're going to go with your number 4 moment of this season when he won in the UK.
Yeah, I think Lucas was a breakthrough of this season. It was a revelation. I mean, we all know what he was capable of, but to actually see him be in the zone for as long as he was, I think nobody could touch him. He seemed invincible, but I mean, kind of came to an end this week. Who knows what's going to happen with him, but he has to be one of the favorites coming into next year's majors. He was faultless. He was very aggressive, even though he was like 30 under par, he still was going for every pin. He didn't give himself any margin for error.
Crazy. He has the style and the swag with his shades and his J's, and it would be fun to see him on the President's Cup team at the end of September too. He would be a big help to the President's Cup team, him and Cam Smith. So that would be a big addition. But as we know, they don't really let LIV players in there unless they win a major and have enough points. So that's kind of sad to see. But somebody who has been on the Ryder Cup team, Bryson DeChambeau, and he won that very first LIV event in South Africa this year. That was one of the better LIV events that we've seen in their history because the crowds were massive and Bryson was going through some personal things that he mentioned post round. So what about Bryson winning in South Africa at your number 3 here?
Yeah, before that, I want to say, like, you're right. The President's Cup definitely has an asterisk without Lucas and Cam and Neiman. I mean,
yeah, Neiman too. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, talking about Bryson, I mean, what an event. I think that South Africa event maybe was the best event of this year, even though Adelaide was incredible too. And the amount of fans there, and Dean Burmester playing with the Baba Bafana, like the soccer shirt. And it was awesome to see it go down to a playoff between Ram and Bryson. And that, I mean, Bryson, I think, Bryson hold like a 50-yard shot to win in the last hole. So that was one of the best endings ever.
Awesome. And we saw just, the environment around it. And this is where LIV has won golf, is the global part of it. You know, they're getting big crowds in Australia and big crowds in South Africa, where the PGA Tour hasn't gone in many, many years. And they're winning the global game. So that's part of why people love LIV so much and want to see it hang around. So kudos to LIV for winning the global game. And for number 2, we're going back to what happened this weekend. Michael Sasso winning in India, the youngest on LIV, at number 2 for you, Fernando.
Yeah, like you said, I think the main reason this is number 2 is because he came out of nowhere. Like,
yeah,
nobody had Sasso on his picks this week. I mean, not even Phil. So the fact that he climbed up and he stayed there and he pounded through, man, it's just so impressive and so much potential from this guy, and what a bright future ahead of him.
Nothing tops your number 1 because
nothing will top the number 1. Yeah.
No, nothing tops number 1 because this made me emotional this year watching this up till like 3 or 4 a.m. whenever it ended. But I was locked in for this. And I think even the PGA Tour people and like the anti-LIV people were talking about this because we all love Anthony Kim. But your number 1 is Anthony Kim getting the promotion, that 3rd spot, and he had to make birdie. We have to go all the way back. He made birdie on that last hole to get into that 3rd spot to get on to the promotions and get back on LIV. And then he goes on and beats Raman Bryson in Adelaide for the win.
Unbelievable, Jeff. What a story. I mean, nothing that can happen on the Tour Championship is going to beat this story. This is the story of the year.
Oh, 100%.
Not even Rory's major at the Masters was even close to this. Like, nothing was close to this performance by AK. And he came from the ashes like the phoenix. He rose like a god. And I think that the fact that he struggled so much and he looks like Harvey Dent, you know, it's just so real. And it puts in perspective that it doesn't matter how hard you fall, you can still climb back to the top and even higher of where you were before.
Yeah, AK, that was a awesome win. And what was it, 1% better is what he says? That's what he says every week on his social media? Just get 1% better every day, Fernando.
Yeah, such an inspiration, and he keeps pursuing that greatness every day. He's practicing every day. He's giving everything he has, and just wants to become a better version of himself.
Top 5 LIV moments from the year. We can't wait for LIV 2.0, whatever that looks like. And whenever we hear about how that all plays out, but as we've said every week here, we love LIV. We love the broadcast. I'll miss Rachel Drummond. You'll miss Henny Zool, who's now Henny Nutt, after she got married. And we'll miss David Faraday as well. Best broadcast team in the game. So until next year, LIV. We're not going to say goodbye just yet, Fernando.
No, man. I think LIV LIV has to keep on going. I think the team franchise aspect makes it like a business model. Could work. I mean, obviously, maybe the price tags that they had on the franchises were a bit over the top. That's why it didn't like kind of flow that much previously. But I think if they get the price tags down, I think the market can start improving. And I mean, this model works. Otherwise, the PGA Tour wouldn't have launched the TGL, because TGL has the same model as LIV, exactly the same, and and they have good investors. So I think that the same could happen with LIV, even if the fields are not as strong.
We'll see what happens. What we know will be 10 events, 5 in the US, 5 international. So we'll look forward to however LIV 2.0 looks. But let's go over to Scotland and some historic win as well there at the Nexo Championship. They played at Trump's Course in Aberdeenshire, Scotland, the Nexo Championship. And I don't even remember 14 years ago or what I did yesterday, but Scott Jamieson won for the first time on the DP World Tour in 14 years, Fernando. And it's really because he just hung around on Sunday. Everyone who was in the lead, something happened to them. Either they had a bunch of bogeys or they couldn't make enough birdies or there was a ruling, which we'll get to on Sean Norris. But what was impressive about Scott Jamieson winning here after 14 years?
Wow, what a beautiful story. The DP World Tour just keeps giving these Cinderella stories. Last week at the Danish Open with Jeff Winter, and now Scott Jamieson winning in front of his home fans. I mean, that course looked brutal. It's looking in immaculate shape, but at the same time, I think the course record is 65. I mean, that's a high course record, very high. So it just talks about the conditions that these guys played. I think if you shot even par, you still in a decent finish. So that doesn't happen very often on the top tours in the world. And this guy obviously took advantage of the ruling that Sean Norris had, and Matthew Jordan was hanging in there, and he played with Scott Jamieson. It was a good battle between them, and Scott came out on top, and it was just heartwarming.
DP World Tour, man, a lot of the winners this year, just amazing stories from greenskeepers to golfers who haven't won in decades. Just awesome, the guys that win on the DP Tour every week. And we love good stories here on Tap and Eagle as well. Scott Jamieson, one of them, but also one of our guys who we thought might win again this year, who plays with a yellow ball, Sean Norris. He was leading until the final round when he had this ruling where he improved his lie because of a divot. I don't really still understand the rule, Fernando, but maybe you can explain it and kind of why this kind of all happened the way it did.
Yeah, I think like they say that if you improve your lie, like if you have a 2-shot penalty. But I mean, he didn't even cost the divot that he took out. It was somebody replaced the divot, maybe poorly, who knows, and he just kind of like shrugged it off with his foot, and the fact that that's a 2-shot penalty, I think it's unfair. I think that ruling should change. I don't think he was trying to like take advantage of any situation. It was just like a natural thing. He was uncomfortable with it, and maybe he didn't know the rule. And obviously, maybe he needs to learn the rules better. But that rule needs to change in the first place.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules in golf that you're like, what is going on? I mean, we can go back to Bryson DeChambeau at the Open and talk about that. But if this was Bryson DeChambeau in the situation, I sent you a text. I said, he's probably getting disqualified for that. Even so.
That's true, man. No, yeah. I mean, at least Sean is not a LIV player. I think that kind of like puts the controversy down this week.
Yeah, exactly. We did see a debut on the DP World Tour for John Daly II, and he makes the cut on the line as well out there in Scotland. And he said he had some help because one of his teammates at Arkansas when he was there was Jacob Scub Olesen. And so they played together for a practice round. And, you know, J.S. Olesen, he's on the DP World Tour, has his card there. And so he helped out John Daly II with some of the course and helped him out. And So, but here we go. John Daly II making some noise, making the cut in his DP World Tour debut.
Yeah, and what a course he chose to start. I mean, that course could have destroyed him, and he came back. He came out on top. Props to him for giving himself that challenge and accomplishing the feat of making the cut in his first pro start. It's so cool. I mean, he's got it in the genes.
He does. PGA Tour as well. When he was at the Puerto Rico Classic, he was in contention there to the last day. So, John Daly II, he has his dad's game out there. So watch out for his name as we get into as he gets more starts on both tours going forward. On the Korn Ferry Tour, we saw a first-time Korn Ferry winner, and he skyrocketed up the standings to now where he's right in the chance to earn his PGA Tour card for next year, where he won in Kansas City this week, the last of the regular season. Yuta Sugiura from Japan winning on the Korn Ferry this week, Fernando.
Yeah, another new name, and he puts himself in the conversation for the PGA Tour cards, where the top 20 makes the tour. I think he's 23rd right now, and we still have 4 events to go. So he's heating up at the right moment.
They'll take a little break here for, I think it's a week. Then they'll get right into the final 4 events of the year, the KFT finals, which is always exciting. But here are some names that we mentioned throughout the show this year that are right in the hunt. Ian Holt, who is a 2-time winner this year on the KFT. Tommy Morrison, who was won this year, who I saw at the Evan Scholars Invitational and has a bunch of top 10s as well. Dino Monante, who plays super fast, one of the fastest golfers in the world at number 8. Our guy, Blades Brown, future major champion, Masters winner at number 10. Ben Coles, who we've seen both on the PGA and Korn Ferry this year, almost won the John Deere Classic. He's at 14. And then Carlos's brother, one of our other favorite Mexican golfers, Alvaro Ortiz, at 20th. So where do we see these guys heading into the KFT finals? Maybe somebody else, too, in the top 20 that you're looking at or on the outside.
Yeah, man, so many good guys over here. I think if you look at the guys who are sitting outside looking in, I mean, everybody has a chance. And these are all guys who have proven to be winners. So if you're Alvaro Ortiz, obviously he's played amazing this year. You're not looking just for a top 10 finish. You think you need to win.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. Like, I love how these, like, where the points really matter at the end of the year, because we're kind of seeing this with the Tour Championship too, which this weekend East Lake, where it's like these guys that were in the top 50, but like 30 to 50 range, the only way they would have advanced the Tour Championship this week is if they actually won. So that's why they're making these changes on the PGA Tour for the playoffs, because you're like, it doesn't make any sense. That's no fun to have it that way. But what are you expecting this week? Because we only have 2 of these left now before we go to this new format, which we'll talk about for 2028 for the Tour Championship at East Lake. What are you looking at this week?
Yeah, I think before I want to say that James Nicholas and Ryo Ishikawa, I think, are one of the guys I wish they get into the PGA Tour next year. And I think for the Tour Championship, the system was better before, because the playoffs counted like 5 times as much as the normal events. And now that is not the case. I think the points that they award is just a little bit more than the regular season events, and maybe just the same as the signature events. So that's why you don't see a lot of movement in the playoffs. And like you said, that's not very exciting. That doesn't seem very fair. I think like the playoffs should have more weight.
Exactly.
And so, but now it's the Tour Championship. And so the guy who wins this tournament is going to take home the FedEx Cup. We got Tommy Fleetwood trying to defend. I think the only guy who hasn't won in this field is Alex Molly. So the fact that Tommy made the feat of winning last year maybe should put Alex Molly more in the radar.
That was awesome to see last year. That would have been a top moment if we did the show last year for the PGA Tour, was finally seeing Tommy Fleetwood win, because he's loved by everybody out there. So maybe we'll get something like that this weekend. But we'll get to our picks at the end of the show, look at the betting odds as well, like we do every week. But we have to say that to the end, because it's always fun to end with our picks. But let's get into like the major news of today on this Tuesday is that the match play for the Tour Championship format was announced for the Championship Series. Brian Rolab laid it out. It's going to be 2 weeks, Fernando. So let's look at week number 1. So it's going to be group play, the top 32, 8 groups of 4. This is kind of like the FIFA World Cup group stage. 3 matches in 3 days, and the top 2 per each group advance. So what do you feel about this first week?
I think it's amazing. It's a long time coming. I think Tiger finally made it happen. I don't know why this took so long, but I'm glad I'm alive to see it. We need this. We need this badly in golf. Like, I don't understand why they didn't have any match play. If it was my tour, I would have like 50% of the tour match play and mixed it with the ladies or whatever. I don't know, but that's just me. I think at least this is a step forward. My opinion, this is progress, and I think the format is great. 2 weeks is great. I think it builds up the anticipation and the kind of like head to head kind of thing, and the bracket, and just like in other sports, it's great.
Exactly. We love March Madness because of the brackets. And week number 2, there'll be 16 players left. A new course every year, which we also like, not just playing East Lake, but the rotations of the best courses in the world that everybody wants to play. And this is when it gets juicy. 1v1 match play, single elimination. And this is how hard it will be. This is like these amateur tournaments that we're talking about. You need 4 straight wins to be the tour champion. And we were talking about it with these amateur championships, Fernando, that we need match play and how exciting match play is. And now we're finally getting to this point. I hate that we have to wait another year, but it's still coming.
Well, with another 2 years, no?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, technically one more tour season, but yeah, 2 years.
I hope I'm alive for that, man. Yeah. But it's going to be awesome. I mean, better late than never. These things are slow. They take time, but I'm glad it's coming through.
Brian Rolap, best PGA Tour commissioner ever. I'll throw that out there. He finally gives the fans what he wants, Fernando. I love it.
I mean, it's no coincidence that he took the NFL to where it is. Yeah. So very happy that golf got this guy in the trenches.
Yep. Great decision by the PGA Tour. Let's go back to the DP World Tour as we were talking about. Tyrrell Hatton rushing over to play in the British Masters this week, hosted by Sir Nick Faldo. What are you watching for this weekend? If you want to get up this weekend and have a coffee and watch the coverage, what should we be watching for, Fernando?
I mean, I don't get why Tyrrell was rushing to the airport. I mean, John Ram can just lend him his charter. I mean, that was kind of weird, but I mean, I get it. All these contractual obligations are obviously you never.
And he's in the he's in the field too, because this was supposed to be the LIV team event weekend too. So
yeah, I mean, you never read the small letters in anything, and when it's time to actually look at the contract, you're like, why did I sign this? So maybe Tyrrell has one of those moments right now, but I'm sure he'll get over it, and he'll probably win this week. I think this course suits him well. He's a British master for sure. And so playing at the Betfree, which is kind of like looks like a pit-tie type of course, which looks like very penalizing if you don't hit your targets, and it's not very long, but it looks kind of not very wide.
Not very wide, and could suit a lot of different guys' games out there. But now we're finally getting to the end of the show. So let's put the betting favorites out there for this week on the DP World Tour. And Tyrrell Hatton, the favorite in the field. This is the first time he's there since joining LIV in 2023. Matt Wallace, another Englishman, is the second odds favorite. And Kita Nakajima, the third best betting odds. What do we think about these 3 this weekend? But you already talked about Hatton, so what about Wallace and Nakajima?
Yeah, I think I wanted to mention that the DP World Tour is reinstating the hefty fines against LIV players. So I think Tyrrell's maybe trying to take advantage of this event, and the back 9 swing that is starting on the DP World Tour. They still have 9 tournaments left, so Tyrrell's probably going to play all of them. And Matt Wallace has been playing unbelievable. He almost beat Gini Chikara at the Kelly Open, and Kira Nakajima won in India. So, I mean, those are great picks.
Well, you know what? He's one of my picks this weekend because, like you, I don't look into the stats too much. I let you talk about the stats, but I actually looked up the stats for Nakajima right now. So he was third in the Scottish Open, was fourth last week, and right now on the DP World Tour, he's number one in both driving accuracy and greens in regulation.
Wow.
So I think that Nakajima. I think if you were to bet on DP World Tour, I don't know who does out there, but if you were, I think that is where you should put your money. And then I'll also throw Marco Penge on there. He hasn't really got it going in his first year on the PGA Tour, but I think maybe going home to England, maybe he finds something in his game and then he can bring it back to the U.S. and have a good year on the PGA Tour next year. And then a guy who I saw who plays a lot on the Korn Ferry Tour, Thomas Rosenmuller, the German. He doesn't play on the DP World Tour a lot, but when he does, his last two starts that both came in England were top 10s. So I think that can be somebody way down the line who's really not even an official DP World Tour member, but somebody out there that might surprise you, Thomas Rosenmuller.
Yeah, I mean, that Kira Nakajima stat is definitely a nugget here and should be a great bet. I think that the Korn Ferry Tour might be stronger now than the DP World Tour. When I was a kid and started watching golf, that was not the case. The DP World Tour was way stronger than the Korn Ferry Tour, and just even maybe as strong as the PGA Tour. But now the recent years, the DP World Tour has been leaking its best players every year to the PGA Tour. It's become like a feeder tour. So Thomas Rosenmuller should definitely be able to compete this week.
Love to see it. Definitely watch out for his name. And we hope they do well, but usually we've been doing pretty good with our picks, so we're right up there. And I know
Marco played well in Detroit, though.
He did. So we love the trendy guys on this show. That's how you win these bets, Fernando. Is you look at the trends. Yahan Zhou is one of your picks. You love this guy, the Chinese phenom, the next Haotong Li that we talked about next week, just 19 years old from China. Thorbjorn Olesen, who played well in his home country of Denmark a couple weeks back, and you like Terrell Hatton as well.
Yeah, Jan Hansu is one of the most exciting players out there. Kind of has like that Sasso swag going on. Tyrrell, I mean, he's won everywhere. He's just a force to be reckoned with. And who was my other? Oh yeah, Thorbjorn Olesen. I mean, he had a fortunate event a few years ago, but he has managed to come back and put up great numbers every week, both in the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour, and he's been racking up those top 10s, man. I think it's bound to win.
All those Thorbjorns out there, Thorbjorn Olesen, Thorbjornsen, Michael Thorbjornsen, all the Thorbjorns.
Jakob Olesen.
Yeah, all the Olesens and Thorbjorns and Thors and all that stuff. We love it. We love it. But we also know every week when Scotty Scheffler's in the field, he's the betting favorite and massive odds for him to win this week as well, plus 350. Rory's the next at plus 850 as a three-time tour champion. We know Scotty won this 2 years ago. And Xander Schauffele, who's the third best odds, and he's like Mr. Consistent. He's won this event. He's also finished second 3 times and a bunch of top 5s and top 10s once you get the East Lake. So these are 3 pretty good names this weekend for someone to win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they changed the 9s at East Lake. I think it was better when it ended up on the par 3 9 now. But yeah, these guys own East Lake. I mean, they just played awesome here. Fits to their eye, and I think there's no wrong going with any of these guys.
But you know what? We're not picking any of them. So let's get into our picks and we'll show you. We don't like the favorites. We look better, Fernando, when we don't pick the favorites and somebody wins. And as we know, I said at the beginning of the show that when I pick Wyndham Clark, he does not disappoint. So I'm going with Wyndham Clark again this week. I love Wyndham Clark, being on the Wyndham Clark train. I am the conductor of the Wyndham Clark train up front seat, running the train to another win this week for Wyndham Clark. And Colin Morikawa, he finished T4 alongside Gary Woodland last week. His last 5 starts, 4 top 15 finishes. He played well early in the year, battled through his injuries that he had, that he got from the Players Championship, and still played well through that. So I think he's a name to watch. And another guy who I like, who I picked a couple weeks back, who shot up to the front of the leaderboard before finishing second to Scotty Scheffler, Sam Burns. And he still needs to win. And he's been on so many leaderboards. I think the Tour Championship, he would have deserved something like that as Sam Burns.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that my pick of Matthew Jordan on the DP World Tour was a good one last week too.
Yes.
So we've been on fire, man.
Yes.
I think I was gonna pick Wyndham too because, I mean, he's a beast. He's like you said, he's a trailblazer. He's a freight train right now, and he looks unstoppable. So that's great. I think your other 2 picks are very solid. I think Sam Burns has more top 5s than anyone else in recent memory, and he should be in the final group with Scotty, but he'll probably lose to Scotty again.
Yeah, we're not saying that these guys are going to win. Like these are top 10s. We love Wyndham to win. We love Morikawa, Burns to win, but we probably know this is Scotty's week. But we're not picking Scotty because we don't pick favorites. But you like Patrick
And
Cantlay.
Morikawa. I was going to say Morikawa is leading the PGA Tour in strokes gain approach.
There we go. See, there's the stats from Fernando.
Dialed in his iron game. Then I think Islake needs a lot of that.
Oh yeah, Colin Morikawa, definitely named to watch. 2-time major champion, as we know, and he's kind of resurged his game this year. But you like 3 guys that one has won 3 times this year, and Chris Gotterup. One has won this back in 2023, Victor Hovland, and then we talked about Patrick Cantlay when we get to the playoffs. So these are 3 guys too that you need to watch this week.
Yeah, we've been looking at the trends, and these guys are trending. I mean, Cantlay has like 4 top 7s in the last years here at East Lake. Hovland won it all. He's been playing awesome as of late. And my other guy, who was it?
Gotterup.
And Chris Gotterup. He hits the longest drive of the week every week. And this course has been lengthened up. So that's going to be a great advantage, especially because of the rough. It's not the same to hit a 150-yard shot of the rough than a 75-yard shot.
Can you believe if either Chris Gotterup or Wyndham Clark wins and they have 4 for the calendar year? Crazy.
I mean, maybe if Chris Gotterup wins, he might be on the conversation for Play of the Year too.
Yeah, I would put him there. He still doesn't have a major championship like Wyndham, but 4 is impressive. So I would put him up in the conversation for PGA Tour Player of the Year. But when we get there, we will talk about it whenever they decide that. There's our picks for the week, Fernando, for DP World Tour and the PGA Tour. PGA Tour wrapping up this week with the Tour Championship. DP World Tour continuing throughout the fall here. We'll see some fall events as well. The Irish Open coming up. We know Rahm and Bryson will be there. They've talked about it. We'll see what other PGA guys will come over and play that event as well. But if you made it to the end of the show, you enjoyed watching the show, subscribe for weekly episodes here where we talk about golf every week. President's Cup coming up in just under a month here now. So we'll talk President's Cup when it comes up here in less than an hour away from where I live here in the Chicago suburbs. So that'll be fun. And we also have great golf content on the channel.
I have to mention, why, if you have Gary Woodland playing so well, do you choose him as a vice captain?
Yeah,
why?
And Ricky's a vice captain too, Ricky Fowler. So
yeah, but I mean, Ricky didn't make the Tour Championship. Gary did.
Yeah.
I think you have to give Gary.
I know in the President's Cup you can be a captain and play, but can a vice captain play?
I mean, I hope so because I think Gary deserves to play.
Yeah, 100%. And I think maybe Thorbjornsen too, because ever since he won, he's been up on the leaderboards. So I think you can give Thorbjornsen.
I mean, the USA is so stacked. I think they should just hand him the trophy now.
Yes, but not in the Ryder Cup. Only the President's
Only the President's Cup.
That's what's keeping U.S. golf alive, right there. It's the President's Cup.
Yeah, I think Scotty was on Pat McAfee,
Yeah.
and he said Scotty, what's going on in the Ryder Cup?
Yeah, that's a subject that, yeah, I want to go down that road because we'll be here for another hour just venting about things. But anyway, yeah. So like I said, football season starting and all those things. We're excited about that, but golf is still going on. There's great golf out there. We'll be here to talk about it for you. So subscribe for weekly episodes and golf content here on the Cousins Conversations YouTube channel and Tap and Eagle. Also, the Walker Cup is coming up as well. Covered some of those guys at the Western Am, so that'll be fun to watch. But a lot of golf here coming up in the fall, Fernando. Summer might be over, not where you live, but where everywhere else in the world. But yeah, great golf coming up, Fernando. So people need to subscribe, right? We're almost at 500 subscribers.
Let's go, man. Yeah, it's a good day to golf here any day in Querétaro, Mexico. Yeah, thank you everyone for subscribing. Keep sharing, and let's keep this growing. And give us some stars on Facebook.
Yes, Facebook too. If you're watching on Facebook, star this episode, and we'll get some money as well. And if you want to subscribe to the content on the channel, you'll like what you saw in this episode or any of the content that I put there on Facebook, you can subscribe to the channel. Maybe we'll have some exclusive content as well. Maybe some of our picks we'll put under some exclusive windows so that we're not giving them out for free every week. Obviously, you can find them here in the episode. But if you missed the episode and you want to just watch our picks, maybe we can put it under a subscribe window as well. But the good news about that is that you're supporting us because we support you guys every week, and we love you guys for watching us and all those things. So go support the channel. And if you're watching every week, might as well support us. So there we go.
Exactly. Well said.
Thank you, sir. Well, that is the hammer on the episode right there. Couldn't have ended it any other better way. So have a great week, everybody. And next week, we'll come back with you to talk about the Tour Championship. And we'll also, just like we did with LIV, we'll give our top 5 favorite PGA Tour moments from the year as well. So make sure you tune in next week as well. We'll let you know in the community when that will be next week, as we do every week. Until then, see you later.
Thank you. Have fun.